Welcome back, CEDIA 2020. Thanks for joining us here at Modus VR. We're moving into our second demo of the day, and this space is going to be a little bit different than the last one. So we've been able to show a few media rooms, a few conference rooms, and this will be our second room featuring a golf simulation system. We know this is a ever increasingly popular category for AV integrators. It's a way to make spaces that sometimes maybe get a little stale, kind of exciting, and with what's going on in the world, people want to do more activities from home. So why not golf in your basement? So we're going to go into a room here, and for those of you who have not seen Modus before and are just joining us for the first time, I'll explain exactly what we're up to here. So Modus VR is a sales and design platform built in virtual reality, designed specifically for AV professionals. What we allow you to do is, from start to finish with a sales process, begin a room from literally nothing, build out a space in virtual reality, creating all the elements, including the technology as well as furnishings, architectural details, anything you could really imagine in VR with your customers. This is a great workflow, and we'll show you how this works. A lot of people ask, how long does it take to build spaces out in Modus? You know, we see all these great screenshots on our demo reels and our videos, and people always assume, oh, it's got to take at least hours, if not days, to do this. Well, the reality of it is we're able to build spaces usually in under an hour. In fact, what we'll see here today with our team is we'll build out this room with a golf sim in it in less than 20 minutes. So the guys are listening in the background, and there's not going to be any pressure here, but I am going to time them on this one, so we'll see how they do. So how do we get spaces into Modus VR? So I've got some floor plans here, and the room that we're going to be working on is number 10 here. Excuse me, what we'll do is we'll create a space, and this is going to be Golf Sim 2. And I'll just hit create, and this is a complex space. If you're just doing a rectangular or square room, you can actually just use this simple dimensions and just enter the dimensions and get going. But rooms that are complicated, that have angles in them or anything like that, we use this. And what we've got is this new part of the software, which is the reference image. What we're able to do is come in here and actually select that floor plan, and this is a new update as of June, our latest update to the launcher software. So here's this image that we've got, and so this is just a floor plan that we drew up in SketchUp for the space. And it has a couple of dimensions called out. So there's a couple basic requirements. First one is that the dimensions have to be scaled properly. But you can do hand drawn. We've actually shown that in a few different demos. But also you have to have at least one known dimension in the space as well. And so to set that known dimension, we want to find the longest one available to us, which looks like it's this 37.7 foot long wall here. So we'll just actually go right along this, and if you can see, there's a little blue line. This is actually setting the reference calibration, and we know that is 37 feet 7 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, and what that's done now is it's actually scaled, and it will rotate the floor plan if this is at all out of whack. So once that's calibrated, we can click over here. The ceiling height in this room actually needs to be bumped up to 10 feet because the golf simulators are, actually we'll do 10 foot 1 inch just to give us enough clearance. You can go in here and you can reset the unit of measurement from imperial to metric as well. So if you're working with a customer, a European customer, or really anywhere else in the world other than the United States, you can use the metric system. And I'm just going to set this snapping here to 1 inch so we get some good precision. So to start drawing this room, all we have to do is click add a wall up here. And we also want to set our wall's thickness. So these are 6-inch walls. And then from this point, we just start tracing right on top of the existing layout. And to do this, I normally just start kind of getting it close. And then you can fine-tune these once you've got all the shape drawn. So that looks pretty good. Looks like we're off by just a smidge here. So we'll move this out to get that to 90 degrees. There. Alright, so all of our corners are looking nice and square, 90 degrees on all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in here, and I'm going to line this wall up with this wall, and this wall with this wall. And once these are all lined up, I'll just validate all of the actual lengths of these wall segments to make sure that they line up with our 2 reference points that are available. Now, in some drawings, you may not actually have a reference point or a known length like we have in this, and so in those cases you can get close enough usually by finding a doorway, and I'll show that in a later demo. Doorways are typically 3 to 3.5 feet wide, so the big thing about Modus is it doesn't necessarily need to be completely accurate to the down to the 16th of an inch. So representing this is more visual than it is for taking out actual construction measurements. But this room is looking pretty good. We're scaled up. Looks like we're 1 inch too wide here. So if I bring that in just 1 inch, that looks good. And we have a 10 by 10 column here as well, so that'll have to go into the room. And this will be the golf sim area. There's a doorway with some stairs, but I think we're ready to go. And so this room is actually going to be a multi-purpose room. On this portion, we have a theater area, and over here is where the golf sim will go. Some stairways as far as an entry. So we've got the guys in VR ready to go. Let me just save this so they have a copy. Guys, can you hear me? Hi guys. All right, let me flip over the view here. All right, so we are now in VR with Ken and Scott. And Ken and Scott are going to take over from this point because after you're done drawing the room shape out, everything happens in VR.
We get confirmation that's fixed.
That I had to fix an audio glitch there. So the guys, so Ken and Scott are building out the room. I started a timer. So Ken's here in green and Scott is there in red. And so what Ken was saying is that they played with some different ideas in the room and they settled on putting the theater over here. So go ahead and take it away, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah. One of the nice things about Modus is it's so fast and easy to change things that you can really brainstorm different ideas quickly without spending a lot of time stressing out what's going to work and what's not. Since the cost of change is effectively zero, everything is very low commitment. And so Scott and I came in beforehand and played around with a bunch of different ideas. What we settled on was putting the theater over in this area. We had the small window, which we were a little concerned about with the screen, but in the end, everything seemed to work out best this way. But it's pretty fast, pretty straightforward. I'm also going to toss in a foosball table here. The client had talked about always wanting one of those.
And it looks like Scott's putting in a little kitchenette area over there, refrigerator, so some nice creature comforts available in Modus as well. Most of the objects that you're seeing right now are what we consider our generic object set. I think with the exception of maybe these chairs. These look like these are a branded chair. But we have a lot of different options in Modus in terms of types of objects. So our generic objects allow you to fill out a space with just all the creature comforts of home. So we've got a lot of things like lights, some different types of furnitures, but anything that's a branded product like these theater chairs, these are actually dimensionally accurate, and we also work as hard as possible to make them visually accurate, down to little interesting things like cup holders being shiny or not. Which seats are these, Ken? Are these the Pro Lounger from Acoustic Innovation?
They sure are.
Yeah, so these are actually a new product for us.
Yeah. One of their more affordable chairs.
I think Emily was saying it's also their most popular chair, so it's available in a few different finishes. Looks nice, and they're pretty darn comfortable. I sat in one back in March in the Vegas Expo that we were at, and it was pretty cozy. I could have taken a nap in it. So this area over here that Scott's working on is where we determined the golf simulator was going to go. I don't think that the golf simulator would have really fit very well in the area that you built out as a theater, would it, Ken?
No, and that's what ultimately led us to putting it over there. It also, I mean, you know, a golf sim takes up so much space, and if you turn around, Scott's just added it. But once we were in VR, we were not only able to look at how well it would fit, but we could also see how it would impact the flow of the room.
Mm-hmm.
The golf sim isn't really something you want to be walking across a lot, and so it's kind of nice to have it as the end point of the whole room, whereas the theater area, you can come in, see what people are watching, and then go back and look at the golf sim.
Right. So the last thing you want to be doing is walking through where someone's swinging a golf club, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? And you also don't want to be distracting somebody that's working on their swing, things like that. So it worked out a lot nicer this way. We're pretty happy, and I think, Scott,
Yeah.
are we pretty much done?
I think we are done. I think that's it.
Patrick,
Nice.
did you happen to see how long that took us?
I started the timer just so Scott was so quick to get started. I'm gonna go ahead and add just a tiny bit of time, but you guys are under 5 minutes. You're at about, I mean, the timer, the stopwatch is at 4 minutes 10 seconds. So we'll be generous and say that it was 5 minutes. So 10 minutes total build time with 2 people. Typically we're not using 2 people to build out, but for the sake of the demo and also to keep Ken and Scott from being completely bored. We did it as a team.
Yeah. All right, and so what we've just shown was basically the first part of the Modus experience. That's the build and design. The second part is the presentation. So during build and design, you're typically not going to have a client there with you or even watching. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but that's just traditionally not what happens. When it comes time to present, Modus gives you a bunch of different options in ways that you can do that. So in an ideal world, you'd be able to have them in VR with you. Modus supports having several people in VR at the same time. That's where a client gets the best understanding of the feel of the space. They're free to walk and teleport around like we've been doing. But short of that, you can do several other things to share your vision for the project. For example, we can do what we're doing right now, where we're streaming a live session. That way the client can still get that interactive experience. They can ask questions, and the integrator can react to those questions in real time. The client can say, well, hey, what if we moved the golf sim over there? And you can just do that very quickly and show them how it's going to look. It also gives you a chance to do what you do best as an integrator, and that's present. Show your expertise. Explain why you went with this particular recommendation based on what the client has said their needs and requirements are. But on top of that, we've also added a lot of other ways for sharing your presentation through other types of deliverables. So for example, we can now generate professional quality high-res images, line drawings, and soon to be released panoramic 360s. So Patrick, how about I turn the time back over to you so you can walk everybody through how we generate those?
Absolutely, thanks, Ken. So to get the line drawings and all the deliverables, the final presentation after you've done, so we've spent about 12 minutes or so in VR, so a pretty minimal investment of time. Obviously, if you have a customer involved, you're going to want to spend some time with them coming up with all the design decisions. But once you're done with the VR portion, we'll move on to the export portion. And so what we can come back here's the file that we just saved. So this is base number 10 now. You'll see I've got a nice thumbnail up here in the top right corner that will show us what exactly this file is. And so we can open it in VR. We don't need to do that. We've already done that. We're happy with the way it's built. We're going to skip photo for the moment because the photo mode is something I'd like to show at the very end. Editing the floor plan, that's just how we built the room originally, doing the wall drawings. And so line drawings is what we're going to go do next. So I'm going to hit create line drawings, and right now it's automatically generating both a floor plan and a reflected ceiling plan. So you'll see here this is the golf simulator area here. We've got the counters. Everything that was drawn into the room is showing here on these automatically generated views. If we want additional views, all I have to do is come up here and just click the Add View button. And so we'll get one that's the golf simulator elevation front. And so for this one, I'm actually going to snap it onto this one. So to snap to these walls, if you read over here on the right side, there's a box that says tips and tricks. And so we've tried to add these tips and tricks to each section of the launcher. And this was just where you can find shortcuts, how-tos, exactly what it says, the tips and tricks that'll help make your life a little bit easier while you're navigating through this space. So over here on the left side, you'll see we've got a preview of what that's going to look like. I can rename, I can duplicate, but basically I can move this in and out, and so I actually want to include that projector, so I want this view the cut section to go right behind it like that. And actually we'll narrow this out because we don't really need the refrigerator included in this either. So really I just want to capture the golf sim area. And we'll be able to annotate this in a moment. There's a section for that. Let's grab a couple more views here. So we'll do theater, front wall, elevation, and we'll grab that like so. and then I'm just going to skinny this up to the theater portion and pull it back a bit. So we've got our subwoofer. The speakers are in the wall behind the screen, so you're not going to see those. But anywhere you did have things like speakers or any devices that are mounted in and on the wall will also show up in these views. So I'm going to grab another one that's going to be the rear view, including the seats. Theater, rear, elevation. And I want to go ahead and do something like this. Perfect. And I want to grab those seats so we can pull out some dimensions. And I'm actually going to go all the way out to this column here so we get that full view. All right, perfect. So I'm pretty happy with my views. You can set up as many of these as you'd like. This is really, there's no right or wrong way to do this portion. But the next thing I want to show is how to annotate these up. So that is actually our projector, and there's actually the projector for the golf sim is actually overlapping it there, so you're seeing both. But what we're going to want to show is things like the seat height here. So we have this platform that we know is 6 inches tall, and so we're just want to call that out. Maybe we're using this for a construction document for your general contractor. So maybe we just want to put 6-inch seating platform. Perfect. And so once you've made all these decisions, you can mark these up and get them ready for anybody to consume, whether it be your general contractor you're working with, or maybe you want your electrician to see where the plugs need to be for certain things. So you can mark this up as little or as much as you want. Things that I think are most important in this particular one, and we'll just put a few in here. The space that the golf sim takes up is pretty significant. It's 20 feet by, I think, like 12.5 feet. Yep, 12.6. So that's pretty important because that is a massive amount of space that you can't have anything else in. Like we said before, you don't want to be walking around and swinging golf clubs at your friends as they're trying to have a drink at the bar. So we'll call out some of these dimensions just so you can show how far off you want to be from everything. Things like that I think are pretty important. The other one that might be nice to have would be your distance from your seating to your screen wall. And then this is actually, let's see if I can grab the ceiling. Oh, the projector looks like it got hidden. Projector. This is the projector right here, I think. Let's see if I can find it. Well, maybe we won't get the projector in this particular view. We should be able to get it from, I can grab a side view and we'll be able to get the projector's throw distance as well. So let's grab that right now. Just add a view. Projector throw distance. And we'll go something like this. That. Yeah, where's my projector at? Oh, maybe Ken forgot to put a projector in. I'm not sure if there was one. But typically you can put a projector. Ken just said "oops" in my ear. Typically you can put a projector throw distance in, and I'll show you that here from this position. So on the that's the other projector. That's the projector for the simulator. So you can actually go in here, and I'll just show you. How do we remember the projector? We can go in, click dimensions, and go from the front of the projector to wherever the screen might be. So in this particular situation, it's something like that. So once you've got all your drawings, you can click Generate Drawings, or all your annotations rather, and we'll call this CEDIA Golf Sim Demo. And you can actually go in here and change your company name if you want. So Ken's AV Company. And once you've got all your data in there, and this is all automatically generated, you can set this up in our in the software when you first get started. Click Generate Drawings. You'll see it'll have a bunch of PDFs in here from all the old ones that we did previously. Click Save, and then this will actually pop this up so you can see it in a PDF format. So here it is in Acrobat. All the dimensions that we've added. Oops, there's a crazy dimension I accidentally must have clicked in. All the dimensions are here, and then we've got obviously the floor plan, the ceiling plan, and all the views generated in a nice professionally formatted method. Includes a scale and all of the assets that we've just put in here. So the name of the project, the name of the view that we've created, as well as all of the company info. So it's a nice professionally formatted document. You can hand this off to anybody else, another trade. Obviously send it off with your customer because it's a nice little package for them to take home and sort of drool over. But I would argue that black and white line drawings are only so exciting. It's nice to have, good for reference. But I would argue that most of your customers want a little more than that. So to give you a little bit more, we'll go back over here to our launcher software, and we're going to click Save and go over here to Modus Photo. Now, Modus Photo is a companion app to the existing Modus VR. And what Modus Photo allows us to do, as soon as this loads up, there we go. So Modus Photo on paper looks a lot like Modus VR. So this is the same views that we had. I'm just going to, yep, there's no projector up there. We were right. Just going to take a couple quick passes around the room, see what we want to capture here. And so instead of driving using virtual reality hardware, I'm actually just using my mouse and keyboard, or we've even made it compatible with gaming controllers if that's more your thing. So once we find a couple of views we like of this room, we can come in here and we want to make sure we get the projector included, but not too much of that pillar. So this is kind of a nice view of the golf sim. You can actually you can change the zoom levels, you can change the focal length of the camera as well, so you can do some nice artistic blur types of things. And then the other nice thing about Modus Photo is we can actually adjust the lighting in here. So I can crank this way up or way down. I can also independently control different styles of lights. So we've got our ceiling lights here, and then our hanging lights and our sconces, or our wall units over here. So as you can see, I'm actually adjusting those all independent of each other. So if I bring down our ambient levels, you'll be able to see how that actually works. So you can fine-tune these lighting elements to really get a nice, crisp looking professional render of the room. Now the beauty of being able to do this in Modus as quickly as I've shown you here in a matter of about 5 to 6 minutes, you can come in and create these professional looking high resolution images. Typically speaking, this is a process that has to either be done by someone in-house, typically a 3D artist or a CAD engineer that's got familiarity with using rendering tools, or maybe you're sending it out to third party or an interior designer's doing it. So the time it could take you to generate renders like this would typically be anywhere from hours, if not days, or even weeks. Modus allows us to do it in a matter of minutes. So once you've created the rooms in VR, you're able to jump in here and actually capture these. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this screenshot. And actually, I'll grab one more of the golf sim, because the interesting thing about golf sims is, obviously, people want to be able to watch sports on them too, right? So maybe this is a situation where you're going to use the golf sim to play sports. I don't know if it makes a ton of sense because you've got this over here, but now you've got two massive screens for your entertaining space. So it's kind of a cool thing to be able to play some different content. But let's just grab a shot of the golf sim here, and I'm going to go ahead and press enter. And then you'll notice down in the bottom left corner of my screen there is a small thumbnail of the image that we just captured. And then we'll grab one over here as well of the theater area. And Ken had mentioned that the customer really wanted a foosball table. It was a lifelong dream. I know it's everyone's lifelong dream to have a foosball table. So we'll make sure we get that included in this screenshot. And let's just get some content on the screen. And the other cool thing here is we can actually bring these shades down. Let's see. Let me turn off the sound here real quick. As much as we love the Top Gun trailer. So bring the shades down, close those guys up. And we'll tweak the lighting in here to make this look nice and intimate. Got that cool evening feel. Perfect. Let's go ahead and pause the Top Gun trailer and a good screen capture here. I'm sure there's going to be one here in a moment. That'll work. And then, so I'll show you how this focal mode works as well. So you can come in with the camera mode and you can adjust this focus range. And you'll notice as I start bringing it in, or lowering the f-stop, you'll see that the little men in the foosball table start to blur, and you can get that to, you can create some pretty awesome effects with it. And by the way, in France they call this game Babyfoot, which is very strange to me, but I guess they're little baby feet, so that's what they call it. So here we go, we'll grab a capture of this. Maybe we want to probably tune the lighting just a bit more as well. Bring this up. Bring those down a bit. And that hanging light above me should probably be all the way off. Alright, so take a snapshot of that. And lastly, so 2 screenshots, and all these will be available on the CEDIA site as well, so you can go in and take a peek at all the deliverables that we've created. The last and final thing that Ken had mentioned that is brand new to Modus VR, and this is actually in experimental phase right now, but we are getting pretty close to being ready to launch it, I believe. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the content on the screens. This is going to be a bit tricky because of this post, but I'm just going to ask Ken where he would recommend doing this from. Ken, what do you think? I know the stream can't hear you. Right around in here? So I'm just going to take a quick look around just to see how much we miss from having the pole there. Maybe if I get it like right here. That ought to work. Ken's saying in my ear that I can do 2, but I'm trying to get as much as possible in 1. So anyway, point being here, once I find a position in the room where I can capture as much of the information as possible by looking around in all directions, you'll see up in the top right corner there, Control plus Enter will allow me to take a 360 view. And so I'm just going to look at this wall here first, hit Control Enter, and it'll really quickly generate this 360 panoramic image. Now, what that does for me is go back to our launcher here. In the launcher, it's actually going to create a web link. The beauty of this 360 mode is it's not something that needs to be consumed on a computer, doesn't require any special hardware. It's literally just a link to a web page. I'll post it here in chat. Let me grab the right one first. Post it here in chat. And the great thing about this is this can be consumed on any type of device, whether it's a tablet or a phone, laptop, etc. You can, as long as you have a web browser, you can pull this up and swipe around and see the whole room. So it allows you to create just another great deliverable that is nice for your for your customers to show their friends and family. And this is the type of thing that can really generate a lot of exciting referrals for you. You can take that content and say, you know, we did this for this customer, we do this for all of our customers. And our most successful dealers, I would say, use Modus VR with just about all of their customers in one way, shape, or form or another. Maybe they're not building out full rooms in Modus VR for a $3,000 bedroom system. They certainly can, but a lot of our dealers and customers use it to present ideas and show things like this is a similar room that we've done. So it gives you the idea of what's capable of happening start to finish. So in about 29 minutes, we were able to show you how we generate rooms, create the content for the rooms, and then export all the deliverables out. You can see all those on the demo deliverables page of the CEDIA site here. I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be doing more demos today with different types of rooms, so please feel free to stop in anytime. Ask questions in chat if you have them. We're here to answer all your questions and make you feel great about using Modus VR to sell more AV. Thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the show.